So question number 1, it is graphing. We're going to graph that inequality. And to do that, I kind of scaffold the question for you and I ask you different questions. The first question I ask you is, what is the slope? So you tell me, what is the slope? Two-thirds, 2/3. And it also tells you, we're going to do this second, we're going to do this part first. What is the y-intercept? -6, very good. Is this going to be a solid or a dashed line? Dashed. And then is it going to be shaded above or below? So the way that we figure that out is we read from the y, and the y goes into the alligator mouth. That means it's greater. So you would shade above. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go plot that y-intercept. The y-intercept is going to be along the y-axis. The y-axis is right here. So I'm going to go down to -6 and I'm going to put a point. So my rise over run, I'm going to go up 2 and then to the right 3. Always to the right first. Always to the right first. Once we make a pattern to the right, we can go to the left. So I'm going to go up 2 and then over 3 and make a point. Up 2 and then over 3. I'm going to do that again. Now I can connect the dots and make a line. Oh, this is dashed. I got a little bit ahead of myself. I'll make this dashed. It is a dashed line and I need to shade above. Dashed line and I need to shade above. So this should all be shaded. That's my shaded region. And you don't have to make it solid shaded. It's just that's the shaded region. Any questions over number 1? The question for you is a multiple choice question. So the question for you is a multiple choice question. You just need to be careful with whether or not it's a solid or dashed line and whether or not you're shaded above or below. And I can't give you partial credit for a multiple choice question unless you go through and you do these types of things. If you're showing me work that like, you know what the slope is, you know what, if it's supposed to be solid, you know, if it's supposed to be dashed, shade above, below, stuff like that, you got to write stuff down. And then I will consider giving partial credit for that multiple choice question. The next 2 questions, we've got elimination and substitution. So when you eliminate or use elimination, you eliminate and then substitute. When you do substitution, you substitute and then you substitute again. So here is, do we have one of the variables that is going to eliminate? Yeah, that if we put these together, -6 and +6, those will eliminate the x variable. So then when I put it together, I have 6 - 3, and so I have 3y is equal to 6 + 12, which is 18. What do I need to do to get y by itself? So what is y equal to? 6, very good. So I know the second part of my solution. So I even tell you that the solution is x comma y. So I know y it's 6. So now what do I do with this 6? I give you a hint. Do what? Substitute. Yeah, I'm going to go substitute. So when I go plug that in, y is 6. I could plug it into the top one or I could plug it into the bottom one. It doesn't really matter. Which one do you want to plug it into? Okay, I'll plug it into the bottom one. So I'm going to take that bottom equation, 6x minus 3, and I'm going to leave myself a space for the y, is equal to 12. So I'm taking this 6 and I'm plugging it in right here. And now I evaluate. So I can do 3 times 6 is 18, so it's negative 18. This is a 2-step problem, so take a moment from this point and see if you can find that solution. It is a 2-step problem. 2 steps. You already did it, awesome, and you did it. It's 2 steps. So what's my first step of the 2-step problem? Very good. Add 18. 12 and 18 makes what? 30. What's the last step? Divide by 6. What's 30 divided by 6? No, it's not. 5. Everybody should have this written down. My second problem, or I guess it's number 3. I have to solve this one and I'm going to use substitution. I'm using substitution because it's the easiest way to solve it. So is there something that I could substitute? Is one of them already as x equals or y equals? Yeah. So let's take that. So like we know that y is equal to this stuff. We can take it and we can plug it in right there for y. So we get x plus, and then I'm going to plug that stuff in, is equal to 6. So in that space, I'm going to put 3x minus 2. So now I can evaluate. So I can put these two x values together. If I have 1 and 3, then I have 4x. And this is a 2-step problem. 2-step problem. So if you didn't get a chance to solve this one before, it is 2 steps. So 2 steps. What's my first step? I gotta add 2. All right, last step. Very good, divide. So I get x is equal to what? 2. So if my answer is x comma y, I know that the first part is 2. Now what? I know what x is equal to. Now what? Plug it in. Substitute again. Which equation is going to be easier for me to do this? I want to know y equals. Which one is easier? I want to know y equals. It's already as y equals, so let's plug into the first one. I'm going to take that first equation. Y equals 3x minus 2. So I'm going to plug in x is equal to 2. I just solved and figured out x was equal to 2. What's 3 times 2? 6. What's 6 minus 2? Y is equal to 4. Is anybody still copying this? We just have one last problem that we are going to do together. The last problem is graphing. So we're going to get some practice graphing. We're going to graph this line, but first let's identify the slope and the y-intercept. These are the two numbers that you see. So the slope is always attached to the x. The slope for the top line is -4 or -4/1. The y-intercept is the second number that you see, so it's 4. For my second line, I've got a slope and a y-intercept. My slope is 3/2, and my y-intercept is -7. To graph that top line, that negative means go down, and I always go to the right. For my bottom line, that slope is positive, so I will go up, and I always go to the right. So that top line, I have a y-intercept at 4, so this is the y. I go to 4, and I put a point. So when we go to graph these, you will always do the y-intercept first, and then the slope second. So my y-intercept is 4, so I put a point there. So you do it in backwards order. So I plot my y-intercept, and then my slope says go down 4 and then right 1. So I go down 4 and then to the right 1. Put a point. And I'm going to go down 4 and to the right 1 again and put a point. And I can connect my dots. For my second line, it says that I'm going to go put my y-intercept at -7. So I'm going to go down to -7, and I'm going to put a point. From that y-intercept, I'm going to go up 3 and then over 2. Up 3 and then over 2 and put a point. Up 3 and then over 2. A couple more times. Do my lines intersect? That's the answer. Where they intersect is the solution. It is your answer. So I just have to be able to identify that point. What is that point? So let's look at how it's written. Let's use this as a guide. It says x comma y. So that means you have to go in the x direction first. So use that to help you. So to get to that point, I have to go over 2, and then I have to go down -4. So that point is going to be 2, -4. Please make sure that you put parentheses around it, or it's wrong. If you don't put parentheses around it, it is wrong.